All right, everyone, 13 weather meteorologist Sean Ash here. Tuesday afternoon, 9th of October, when you're watching this, keep that in mind. Update on Milton. We're going to start with flights here. We talked about Tampa shutting down operations this morning, Orlando tomorrow morning, but flights already to Orlando are canceled for obvious reasons, and Fort Myers canceled as well. Any metric you use on Milton, not necessarily today, but yesterday when it really ramped up, puts it in the top shelf of hurricanes in the Atlantic and Eastern Pacific Basin here. It'll go down as the 6th strongest in terms of pressure, wind of 180 miles per hour. Most of that happened in a very short time yesterday. I mean, that's as quick as an explosion of a hurricane as you'll ever see, certainly in the Gulf of Mexico. We got Rita from 2005 on this list. Hurricane Gilbert was also a Gulf, that was back in '88. We've got Wilma from 2005, and the topper is Hurricane Patricia from 2015. That was East Pacific. Those are, again, the strongest hurricanes here. So here's the latest, and as we look at the satellite imagery, one thing that points out, so we're starting to get a well-defined eye, and that's a sign of strengthening. That was expected. It's still in a very favorable area for intensification. These real top-end hurricanes can't maintain that intensity for a long period of time, so they undergo something called an eye wall replacement cycle, and that's what's happening. Unfortunately, what that will also do is expand the wind field as we move through the next 24 and 36 hours, and that's going to be key because areas much farther removed from the eye will be impacted with tropical storm and hurricane force wind. 150 mile per hour at the time of recording, pressure at 929, and east-northeast movement. And this is the latest aircraft reconnaissance that's taking data from Milton here. And we're really going to get tight on this eye. To me, versus east-northeast, it just looks like it's a little more east-southeast right now. Eventually, it will make that curve, but that's an intense eye. You can see the lightning. Those are intense thunderstorms around the eye there. All right, so I mentioned the wind field expanding and why that's important. By tomorrow morning, at minimum tropical storm force wind already happening in Florida. So this is at 8 o'clock tomorrow evening. Even if, we've talked about the weakening, we're still talking about a major hurricane when it makes landfall. Roughly 3 or 4 a.m. around Tampa Bay. There's still a little bit of uncertainty whether or not it's going to go right through the bay. Will it go just north or will it go just south? All of that is extremely critical to Tampa itself. If it goes north, then that would be more of a worst case scenario for Tampa because the worst surge is going to be just south of the eye track where the flow is onshore versus north of the track is offshore on the western side of the state here. Wind issues, so this is 2 p.m. Thursday near Daytona Beach, the eye wall. This is all onshore, so we actually will have some surge happening. May not be as bad as what's going to happen on the western side of the state, but Jacksonville up through Savannah, and I'll show you that in a moment, will have some surge issues. These numbers and zones will get updated with the latest forecast coming up at 5 this evening. But some surge along the Keys up to about 3 feet expected. As you go to the north and northwest, we've got Naples here, Bonita Springs, Sanibel in the 6 to 10 foot peak storms surge forecast right now. And then as we go a little bit farther to the northwest, for some, this may be the worst surge they've had in quite a long time. Bradenton, Sarasota, Venice, And then here's the Tampa St. Pete area in that 10 to 15 foot peak surge zone. But again, this will get fine-tuned just a little bit, but not good news at all. And as we wrap around into the panhandle, the surge is not as bad, but it's there. And then I talked about this on that, so here's Daytona Beach, potentially 3 to 6 foot surge on the eastern side of the state. That includes Jacksonville, and the surge with the onshore flow stretches all the way up into Savannah. So that's the surge flooding portion. And we mentioned the wind issues as well. Here are the hurricane warnings. Includes Tampa, obviously, and Orlando, and goes on to the eastern side. So this will have hurricane impacts through a massive portion of the central part of Florida here. So this is what the modeled radar looks like. And of note, so these outer bands will not only have wind with them, but as they interact with land, they will produce tornadoes. So there's also the tornado threat. Strongest wind, more than likely, is going to be in this portion of the eye. Okay? And it's conceivable that this system ingests enough dry air that we might shut down some of the rain at times on the southern portion of the track here, so that the flooding rain, and so we're going to have two different types of flooding. We'll have storm surge, that's just the storm itself lifting up the ocean or the Gulf and bringing that onshore. And then we're going to have flooding rain, as these rain rates are going to be very, very intense. And again, this is where some of the strongest wind will be located as well. Whether or not it's going to hit Orlando with the strongest wind or just north, that's just tough to say right now. But we are going to have a zone of flooding, unfortunately. In addition to the storm surge, this would be flooding that will be well removed from the coast, a zone of 10 to possibly 20-inch rainfall in a short period of time. So you can see what we're talking about here. There's multiple impacts that are going to happen with Milton over a large, large area. And then yes, this is tornado potential. Happens quite frequently with tropical systems when they interact with land. And so that's another deal in all of itself. There will be these areas that will have tornado damage. And then we'll show you how everything is just all linked up together. Okay, so here it comes, going to interact with some of that shear, that northerly wind, and that, by the way, is what's giving us such great weather, and that high is what's going to keep it from getting much farther than the Florida-Georgia line, and then eventually going out to sea. So, yeah, this is going to be a bad storm for a large chunk of the western coast, west central coast of Florida. We'll have another update coming up this evening when we get the new data into the modeling, and we will keep you updated. If you have friends and family down there, if they're debating on whether or not on these evacuation orders, they should heed the warning and keep themselves safe. Take care.